Ladies and gentlemen, pre-release number 6 for the Nether update, Minecraft Java Edition 1.16 has arrived. This one brings to you another batch of bug fixes, a new advancement trigger type, and some user interface tweaks. My name is slicedlime, I'm here to guide you through all the changes in this pre-release. Let's start with the gameplay, because in the previous pre-release there was a fairly critical bug. When you were standing on certain non-full blocks, like path blocks, soul sand and farmland, you'd get pushed off and you'd slip and slide around. That bug has been fixed in this version. When you threw an ender pearl into an end gateway, it wouldn't always teleport you, that is also fixed. In this version there are also tweaked colors of crimson and warped materials on maps. The game mode switcher now properly saves which was your last game mode. This works even if you log off a server and back on, or if you close the single player world and open it back up. There's also a default if you've never used it before in that world. It is to switch to creative mode if you are not, and to switch to survival mode if you are already in creative mode. You can now properly bind hotbar buttons to the mouse thumb buttons. Mouse button number 4 and 5 now also properly works with the swap item with offhand feature. In the previous version, if you placed a chain into any water block, then you would get a full water source. That is no longer the case in this version. And if you placed down a lectern and then broke it and picked it back up, the two lecterns would not stack. That is fixed in this version. Explosion damage could be blocked by a bunch of unexpected blocks, like fire blocks. That is fixed in this version. There was a state where you could end up in water or lava and you didn't get pushed around. Only once you started moving by yourself, then the water or lava would push you along. And the Oh Shiny advancement for distracting an angry piglin would only activate when you threw gold on the floor, not when you bartered with them by right-clicking. That is fixed in this version. And that brings us neatly to the next section. Let's talk about mobs, and let's talk more about piglins. Piglins did not spawn with randomly enchanted gear sometimes like other mobs do. They do in this version. There was a problem in the animation transition from the targeting animation to the attacking and swinging animation of a piglin. And if you bartered with a piglin that had a shield equipped, then the shield could get deleted instead of being dropped. Since piglins are afraid of soul fire, they were also afraid of soul campfires. However, they were also afraid of extinguished soul campfires, which has been fixed in this version. In this version, baby piglins will now properly be afraid of wither skeletons and run away. A few versions ago, piglins were changed to stand still while admiring a gold ingot that you dropped. However, if they picked up the gold while they were already pathfinding, then they would continue walking. That is changed in this version. And finally, piglins were able to remove cursive binding helmets if they found something better to wear. That is also fixed. A final change to mobs is that with the changes to the knockback mechanics done in this update, Ravagers, Hoglins and Zoglins could easily now get knocked back. Those mobs have now had their knockback resistance increased. Some fixes for world generation and worlds in this version. Houses and decorations from plains villagers could end up generating in taiga villages, that's fixed. And if you come across a zombie village, then the zombie villagers in it are now persistent, so they won't have despawned when you get there. Also, redstone dust placed in with the structures, such as in the case of a jungle temple, will now have the appropriate block state. Superflat worlds could get corrupted when loading into the latest pre-releases and snapshots. That is fixed in this version, and the server now once again understands how to generate amplified and large biome worlds. A user interface tweak in this version. There's now a hint text that says search in the recipe book search field that highlights that you can search. Visual fixes in this version. The enchantment glint on the lodestone compass would start over its animation anytime the lodestone direction changed. That is fixed in this version. And another enchantment glint fix in this version is that the enchantment glint on shields did not render correctly. And glass placed in item frames now render properly on all of the graphics modes. Some sound fixes in this version. Lots of fixes for bugs where the new nether mobs were far too noisy. That included both piglins and hoglins and zombified piglins, especially when angered. And speaking of that, the angry zombified piglin sound subtitle has now changed. It used to be zombified piglin angers, and it is now zombified piglin grunts angrily. Technical changes in this version: a fix has been done to autocomplete, where it didn't sort the strings that perfectly matched what you were typing at the top. And there's a new advancement trigger in this version. It is player interacted with entity. With this you can use the properties item, which matches the item which was in the player's hand during the interaction, and entity, which matches the entity which was interacted with. Note here that this only triggers for interactions which the game recognizes as a successful interaction. And finally, for resource pack makers, the Hoglin and Zoglin tusks are now two separate copies in the texture, so you can now customize them separately. In addition to this, stability and performance fixes, including a crash fix when trying to destroy a too large portal, and a performance issue with iron golems fighting enemies. And those are all the changes in this pre-release. Remember that these testing versions are less stable than your full releases. That means that they can cause issues, even to the point of corrupting your world, so if you want to try this version, do so on a separate test world or on a backup of your world. Any world opened in this version can never be safely downgraded to a previous version again. With that said, if you want to try it but you don't know how to, then click on the link on the iCard on the video right now or in the video description. That'll take you to a tutorial video about how to get and play the latest Minecraft snapshot, and technically pre-releases still count as snapshots. And that was all I had for you this time. I hope you found this update video useful, and if you did, please help me out in return, leave a like and share it with your friends. If you want to stay up to date with all the latest Minecraft news, then please subscribe to this channel where I make update videos for every new snapshot, pre-release and release of Minecraft. And don't forget to hit the bell icon, select all to get notified when the videos are done. My name is slicedlime, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.